So you finally took the plunge and decided to move. You pick the place you're gonna move to, and you're already pinning all the cool inspo to your Pinterest board, daydreaming of how cool your new life is going to be. But you quickly get overwhelmed by all the things you have to do and pay for before you can actually settle down into your new home. So in this video, I'm going to share everything I wish I knew before moving out of the city to a new state. Learn from my mistakes so you can have an easier time with your move. When I first decided to move, I knew it was going to be stressful, but I thought,
how bad could it be?
That was back in November of 2021. So let me take you back 7 months ago so I can walk you through each and every nitty-gritty step of what it actually took to finally move here. At the time, we were living in a house that we bought a while ago. Before we can actually sell the house, we had to move out. We had to pack up all our things, hire movers, get a storage space, all of which costed a lot of money and took a lot of time. It took about 2 whole weeks just to pack all of our things away and put it in storage. To hire movers at the time, it costed $600. I figured $600 is not that much if it saves me the time and the stress of having to drive back and forth from the storage space. The storage space costed $250 every month. After spending many a late night furiously packing away our entire life, it was time to sell the house. But even before that, we had to get the house ready to be sold. So fixing anything that we neglected that needed fixing, like windows that don't open or shut, holes in the walls, repaint. That doesn't seem like that would take that much time, but boy, do all those little things really add up. It took about 2 months before the house was ready to be in a state that we were confident to put on the market and to sell for a good amount of money. As that was happening, we also had to find a temporary place to live. Our plans changed so many times. We were actually planning on renting Airbnbs so we can travel more. We considered renting a short-term apartment, but if you think I am cheap, you have not met my parents. That's where I get it from. The idea that we would spend thousands and thousands of dollars even on a rent really hurt their feelings. So they invited us to go live with them, which I really didn't want to do. I am a grown woman. I have gotten pretty used to living on my own. I knew it was going to be pretty difficult to adjust to that again, but they asked, and it would save a lot of money during this period of time. That came with its own set of challenges that I would not recommend unless you absolutely had to and really wanted to save money. But the lack of boundaries and learning to live with other people again, not fun. Would not recommend. Once the home was on the market, I thought, woohoo, it is time to go house hunting. No, I was not comfortable with house hunting while our house was on the market and trying my best to line up buying a house while selling a house at the exact same time. Here is a word of advice if you're trying to buy or sell your house, especially in a competitive market like California. It's not easy because of people. People are going to dick you around a lot. It was just really annoying dealing with lowball offers and people who just did not understand that I'm not willing to negotiate the price of our home. You want to buy my house? Give me the fucking money. Does that make me an unreasonable bitch? Yes, but I get screwed less often than other people and I get paid, so I don't care. And we had to wait about another month and a half before our house was finally sold. During this period of time, we were kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo state. I can't really plan for my new life. I have to just sit and wait for this house to be sold. So I have to make do in this very awkward temporary situation that is very uncomfortable for everyone. But once the house was finally sold, a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. Again, I thought, yippee! Here's the fun part. I get to house hunt, find my new home. I was wrong again because it takes time, money, and stress just to do that. Yes, it is kind more exciting than selling your house. Still a lot of work, and you'll probably have to take a lot of time off of work just to travel and try to house hunt. So for me, since my main job is YouTube, I had to skip a lot of weeks of uploads because I was tired, stressed out, and I don't want to upload a mediocre video just to do that. It was also pretty expensive to spend all that money on Airbnbs, to travel to Arizona and to house hunt and apply for apartments because we initially thought we were going to rent first so we can feel free to take as much time as necessary to buy our dream house. Not only was that really expensive to apply for all these apartments, but it was also really competitive. I do not envy the people who are trying to rent right now. It is worse than the home buying market, especially if you're moving out of state. I really recommend you get a real estate agent or at the very least a friend to help tour the space for you over FaceTime to make sure you're absolutely serious about getting the place before you spend the money to drive out there. For us, it took 3 separate trips before we finally landed the place that we would call home. Living with my parents at the time was a blessing in disguise because even though I had to deal with a lot of very stressful situations, I wasn't rushed into buying a home. So I could really take my time and really pick out the house that I really fell in love with. The first house we put an offer in, we were about to buy. They accepted our offer, but after inspections, turns out there was a lot more problems with the house than we initially thought, so we had to cancel. Which meant in this real estate market, we had to just sit and wait. There wasn't that much inventory at the time, and there still isn't. So again, we were stuck in limbo, waiting around for the perfect house to go on the market. It took about 2 more months before we finally found the house that we're in now. And then another month of waiting to actually close on the house. By the time we closed on the house, we were 6 months into this whole process. And on closing day, I was so happy that this entire process was almost done. All I had to do was take all my things in storage and move it to my new home. Little did I know, this last 10% or so is the most exhausting part of all of this. Hot tip, if you're planning a move, you should probably book your movers way in advance. I would say at least a month in advance because there is a supply shortage of trucks and a labor shortage of people willing to help you move. I couldn't do that because I didn't really know my closing date till literally the week before. So the week before we were supposed to move into our new house, I was desperately trying to call up a bunch of different movers. And remember when I said the movers previously had charged me $600 to move a few miles in the same state? They used to charge about $2,000 something to move out of state. When I called all of them, it ranged anywhere between $3,500, basically $4,000 when everything, all the fees and stuff are said and done, to upwards of $6,000. And it literally took me a few days of searching every single truck rental company to be able to also rent a van if I didn't want like one of those giant ones. Otherwise, I would have had to wait at least 2 more weeks up to a month for a van to move everything myself. It really seems like everyone is trying to move right now, whether back to California, out of state, around California. I also learned from the movers that if I were trying to move across the country, it would have at least costed me $6,000, upwards of $10,000. So I'm glad I'm only moving a few hundred miles away. Spending the money to hire movers to help us out really saved us a lot of time and stress. So by the time we were here, I was so excited to spend time in my home. I can't tell you the relief I felt of seeing my home and to open the doors for the first time and to be in this space and go, this is mine, that is mine, that is mine, all of this is mine, and I have peace and quiet and nobody to tell me what to do and how to live. But nobody told me how long it takes to make a home a home. You don't realize this when you buy a home, but that home has basically been sitting empty for at least a month while waiting for all your documents to close, kicking up dust and dirt and God knows what all over the house. So the first thing you have to do is clean the entire house from top to bottom. There's gonna be a lot of dust. You're going to be sneezing, having allergy attacks pretty much constantly. We had all of our air filters going at full blast and we were still having to take allergy medication. The dust is just the beginning of all your problems. Spiders like empty houses. So get that vacuum out and start killing some spiders. In my previous video, I said
I'm going to need to grow a pair because I don't know how to deal with that.
Except I didn't expect it to happen so soon. Look at that shit, man. So I've watched other homestead lifestyle channels. What those girls do, they get like a Tupperware or something and then they catch it so that they don't kill it. And that is not me. I don't want it coming back into my house. I think our plan is to suck it up with the vacuum cleaner.
You want to do that? You don't want to do...
I don't know. I don't know. I can't.
I'm scared for you, man.
I don't know how to do it without looking directly at it.
Squint your eyes.
Maybe you should do it.
What? I said we set up this whole video so you could do it.
Mom can't eat it. You do it.
You need drugs? You need alcohol. Alcohol or drugs.
I need gloves.
Okay.
I guess this is a rite of passage. What?
What? No! Woman!
I can't do it.
It's gone! It's gone! It's gone! You did it! Yeah! And then tell me.
My palms are sweaty. I'm so stressed out.
You are a woman now.
I'm a Prescottia now. And because we sold most of our furniture just to make the move out here, we did not have anything to set things on. So when we went to unpack all our things, we had to just put everything on the floor. Let me tell you, it's going to look a lot worse before it even begins to look better. Then there's all the boring administrative stuff that nobody really thinks about doing. So setting up water, trash, electricity, internet, gas, all those things are different phone numbers that you have to hunt down, and it takes at least a few days. Or trying to find all your personal documents in your mess of a house so that you can get your new license plate and driver's license so that all the Arizonians will stop cutting you off for no goddamn reason other than the fact that you are a Californian and they don't like you. Which, by the way, Arizonians, I am not scared of you and your passive-aggressive driving. I am a Californian. I play a high-stakes game of Frogger every single day with my goddamn life. I'm not on the road with you. You're on the road with me.
You seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I'm the one you should be scared of. All this to say, it takes at least a month, if you're quick, to actually feel a sense of normalcy living in your new home. The whole process started in November, ended in May. On top of that, altogether, we spent about $10,000 on the move itself. It's actually more if you want to include all the new furniture we're going to have to buy, all the new fixes to the house that have to happen pretty much immediately, and all the upfront charges for things like internet, gas, trash. So you might be thinking, was it worth it in the end? And I have to say 100% yes. During all these trips out to find our new home, I did feel a sense of calm and excitement to know that this will be my new home.
Mother, I fright, mother.
I felt so much relief to finally have peace and quiet out of the city. I don't have to live around murderous weirdos stressing me out constantly anymore. You don't realize how much stress you got used to living with until you make the very difficult, stressful decision to move out of that situation. The first 3 weeks of living here, I slept like a baby. I didn't realize how much I wake up in the middle of the night from honking cars, police sirens, strange gunshot noises. Yeah, I am so much more well-rested and less stressed out than I have been in a really, really long time. Trust me, leaving a whole career and life behind is really, really scary. It was very hard for me to decide to quit my job at Disney. I had to deal with a lot behind the scenes. On top of that, I also had to deal with the added stress of suddenly becoming a public figure and feeling like the entire Hollywood industry is out to get me because I decided to become the messenger, which we all know what happens to them. But I don't regret it for a second, because if that is the price I have to pay to be able to live the life I am able to live now, I am so happy for it. This all was just a dream at a certain point. I thought I was going to be trapped for another half a century working in a career I no longer loved. I'm so incredibly grateful to be able to have this kind of life. So I'm almost ready to show off my empty home tour. So if you want to see that and join me on this next adventure on renovating and turning this into my dream home, make sure to like and subscribe.